Hi, this is Mitch with the Fresche support team, and today we're going to be taking a look at the inactive session lockdowns within the TG Secure component. So IBM has the ability to handle inactive sessions, and what we do here is have the ability to set rules and disconnect users based on other criteria. So we can base that off of users, workstations, programs, subsystems, various other things that we can set more specific rules on. So I'm going to pop in option 3 here, and what I'll do first is get into the defaults for inactivity sessions. So the check interval is going to be how often essentially we poll to see that there's an inactive session. Now most users won't be doing 30 seconds. It puts a bit of tax onto your system. Sometime around 5 minutes maybe is where you want to check at. For our demo today, I will be doing 30 seconds to save myself some time. We've got the audit and alert configuration. Now again, this is standard throughout most of the components of Secure, so I'll leave those all as default. And at the bottom here we have some messaging. So we have a disconnect message. So when a user is locked out, we can customize what they see on their screen and apply a header as well. The warning is going to give them a heads up ahead of time before they actually get locked out. So here we have 30 seconds before they will be disconnected. We'll let them know that that's about to happen. And the last option here, revoke authority. So this is going to revoke a user's authority to perform system tasks when the inactivity trigger is fired. So this is one that you want to be careful if you are going to set this to yes, because it is going to impact any other sessions that user has as well, not just the current interactive session where the lockout has occurred. So I'll leave these as default. And I'm going to pop into my inactive session rules here. So I have one for a demo here. You can add a new one with F6. I'm just going to open my existing one up here. And we'll see at the top here that we can set the rule type that we want to apply this to. So we have programs, we have users, workstations, subsystems, and controllers. So I'm just going to do it for this demo user today. Now this can also be applied to user groups as well. If we take an F4 here, we can see all the available user groups to us. I'm just going to apply it to the one. The object library, of course, comes into play when using other rule types. And if we leave it as blank, it's just going to be essentially the equal of *all. The calendar is going to be calendars that you set within the tool, so maybe you only want this to occur on weekends or during certain times of the day. The disconnect option, we'll take a look at this right after this, but essentially we can define what happens when somebody disconnects. I have a dummy one that I've made for the demo, and then there's just the default as well. We'll take a look at that. Oops. The rule action, whether we want to include them in the ISL rules or exclude them. So if you had, say, a group and one of the users you had a group that was included and you wanted one of the users not to be included in that, you can make a specific rule for that user and exclude them there. And then we've just got our description as well. So I'll hit enter to save there. We see that that is on. And this is where we'll take a look at that demo disconnect option. So 11, work with disconnection options. And again, F6 to add a new one. I'll edit my existing. So we can give this a name. That will pop up in the rules list. The time limit of when we want this to kick in. Of course, 1 minute is unrealistic for production environment, but for this demo, it saves me some time. And the disconnect type. So we can there's a few options here. You'll notice the first one, TG DSC job, and that's going to disconnect and kind of pause the job, and it's going to show the custom message that we saw in the configuration. And the disconnect job is just going to show the system default. Now with those, we won't actually end the job, it's just going to kind of pause it, kick them back to the sign-on screen, and then they can re-enter where they left off. And then we can end job, sign off, and we can also hold job. Now be careful with this, we need to have access to somebody that is able to free up that job if it was to hold. And so I'm going to actually use the TG disconnect job here. We're going to enter that, we're going to confirm that here. Now we have all the configuration correctly, we just want to make sure that the ISL monitor is actually turned on. So you'll see the TG-ISL subsystem needs to be running here. If it's not started, you can run that option 12 here to start that up. Now the last thing, and this is specifically only to the TG disconnect job type, is in order to show that custom screen, we need to actually set the initial program for that user. So if let me just do a display user profile on that profile we have there, and we'll see the initial program I have set here. This will be in the documentation as well. This will need to be added to the user if you want to show the custom screen. If you want to go with the IBM defaults, this can be whatever you choose. It doesn't need to be changed. Now this has to be user by user as it currently stands in the tool. However, in the future we will have a bulk update for all of the enrolled users to essentially implant this initial program onto their profile. Alright, so I'm going to show a demo here. I'm going to log in as that profile that we just made the rules on. And I won't make you sit through this. I'll pause this and come back when I get my warning. Here we see the warning that's come. We've set it for 30 seconds before, giving the user a heads up. We're about to boot you off in 30 seconds. And here we see the TG disconnect job screen. So this is the custom screen that we defined the message and the header within the configuration. And you'll note we haven't actually ended this job, we just disconnected it. So when I go to log back in, we'll see that I'm right back into my session here. So it's not going to fully end the job, it's just going to pause it and have the user log back in. I just wanted to show you a demo of what the screen looks like if you were to just use the DSC job. So this is the IBM default. So we don't get the custom messaging here, but you do see, we're kicked back to the login screen with a small message at the bottom there as well. And that is it for inactive session lockdowns. Thanks.